Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Today we're going to show you how to take a very simple and common linen closet that you see behind me here, and we're going to turn it into something very custom and very elegant, and it's going to be really cool. We're also going to do this in 3 days, or that is at least the plan. Now, with all of that taken into consideration, I actually hurt my back this morning, so literally the day we're going to start this project I hurt my back. So I'm going to be fairly limited on what I can do, and so I'm probably going to step back and take a little more of a supervisory role, and Jessica and the boys are probably going to do a little bit more of the work and the heavy lifting. So we're going to see how this all goes, so let's get started. 3 days.
Sit down!
I want to help when I can.
You can carry this.
This is all I can carry.
So we're at the point in the project where we're trying to finalize the size. We've drawn out a few lines on the wall to kind of give us a visual. So we don't want it too wide to where it looks too boxy, too big, out of place, but also don't want it to be too small. So trying to find a happy medium. So we figured out the size that we want to do this closet in. We went ahead and cut away some of the drywall as far that we want to go. So we're gonna have to move these studs. Now we went ahead and cut away the drywall inside the closet up above, and there is a header there that we're gonna have to basically recreate. So we're hoping to preserve the drywall on this outside so that I don't have to do a patch job.
As a carpenter. So now we've got the closet demoed and we've reframed the new opening. And surprisingly, we actually only widened it by a total of about 6 inches. But this is going to allow us to have more space while also minimizing the amount of wasted space that's going to end up on the sides. Essentially, this whole concept is a giant cabinet that will slide into the closet cavity. For the construction of this cabinet, we're just using 3/4 inch radiata pine plywood. Typically, we use Baltic birch or even regular birch plywood, but because of supply chain issues at the time, we had a hard time getting our hands on either one, so this is just going to have to do. One thing that I like to do when it comes to cabinets of any kind is I prefer to recess the backs into the sides of the cabinets using a rabbet. I feel like this always makes a much cleaner look. Even though the back of this won't be seen from the side, I still feel like doing this helps strengthen the cabinet as a whole, and it kind of keeps it from racking side to side. For the rest of the construction though, I'm just going to simply clamp it up and then I'm going to use pocket screws. When I'm laying my shelves out and lining things up, I like to make 2 marks 3/4 of an inch apart. This allows me to know that the shelf is laying exactly in place. If you just make one line, there's a possibility of actually attaching the shelf on the wrong side of the line. Don't ask me how I know. During the construction of the cabinets, I also like to use these Woodpecker's clamping squares. They're expensive, but I use them every time I build cabinets, so they've kind of already paid for themselves. Another step that we take is adding adjustable shelving. We just use a Craig adjustable shelving jig. We've had this thing for years and it works fantastic. Now we're ready for the back. We set it in place and then attach it with screws and glue. You can also see what I was talking about earlier about how the back of the cabinet is recessed down into the sides with those rabbets that we cut earlier. And lastly, we're going to bring this big monstrosity inside. We lay it on its side, roll it into the house with the furniture dolly, and then stand it back up and slowly slide it into place.
You gonna leave it there for the night?
We're done.
Who's on?
Now that it's all in place, I add a couple of screws to the lower portion into the studs and the walls to help prevent this thing from moving around. I figured since I had everything where I wanted it, I'd start installing the drawer slides as well. We've switched almost exclusively to undermount drawer slides in our home, but unfortunately, once again, due to supply chain issues, it was going to be about 8 weeks before we could get our hands on any. So we decided to go with a soft close side mount slide from Home Depot. A choice that, as you'll see later, I'm going to soon regret. And to add insult to injury, I'm also installing these drawer slides incorrectly, so just pay no mind to what I'm doing. Any guess what I'm doing wrong? Well, I'll go ahead and tell you. I like to make my face frames where they overlap the sides by 3/4 of an inch, so side mounted slides need to have 3/4 of an inch blocking installed for the slides to sit on so that they don't bump the inside of the face frame. For now though, we'll just let me live in blissful ignorance. Next up, we start building the face frame. It's been a while since we built a cabinet with doors, and one thing we forgot about was the fact that even though they're going to be painted, face frames need to be made of hardwood or at the very least poplar when they're going to support doors. Oftentimes when we build simple open face cabinets that will be painted, we just use finger jointed pine as the face frames. It's typically straight and easy to work with. We do end up making this work though, but it took a little bit of thinking on our part later on. Since this video apparently has more mistakes in it than actual correct content, we'll share another mistake. We normally attach our face frames with pocket screws and then take the face frame as a whole unit and attach it to the cabinet. Problem was that I accidentally grabbed the wrong Craig drill bit. We typically have different ones for different sizes, and I was drilling 1/2 inch holes for 3/4 inch material. So the screws weren't offering any stability, and I just about lost my mind. I don't really understand it, honestly. Oh no. And if I'm being completely honest here, I'll go ahead and just point out the fact that Jessica was the one that noticed that I was using the wrong size.
Are you using long enough screws?
And so that was kind of how we ended up getting it corrected. Before we install the face frame, now's the point where I realize the error of my ways, and I'm now going to go back and add that blocking to the side of the cabinet for the drawer slides. Unfortunately though, this will not be the last time that I take these drawer slides off, but more on that later. Until then though, we go ahead, we attach the face frame with 18 gauge nails and call it a day. So it's fair to say that we're not going to make the 3-day deadline. Jessica's told me that I get to give myself a pass because my back's been bothering me. So I'm going to go ahead and run with that. Today is technically day 4. I've taken off work a little bit this morning, and I'm going to work on building the drawer fronts and the doors. They're just a shaker style, nothing fancy about those. If you've seen any of our other videos, we've done several of these, and we've kind of gone into more detail on some of these. So in this video, I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on how to do that, but you're always welcome to leave a question down in the comments if you need any help with that. So while we wait on that paint to dry, we're going to go ahead and install the drawer boxes with these Craig drawer slide jigs that you see behind me. These work fantastic. They're really good, and they kind of tend to just make it really easy because you're able to just set these drawer slide jigs on the face frame. You attach them there, and then you're able to just go ahead and set the drawer boxes on top of the jig. So not only does it help you put the drawer slides in, but it also helps you put the boxes in because you're able to set the boxes on the jig. Picked these up from Home Depot, and these are the soft close drawer slides, and they are utter garbage. Soft close mechanism is really, really janky in my opinion. I had one hang up really bad, so then I tried to move it down here and see if I could get it to work down here. I can't get it to work right here either. So unfortunately, we've thrown all the packaging away and everything else. So we're going to try a simpler, just regular old side mount drawer slide, not soft close, not anything, and just see if that's any better. I've been fighting this now for what feels like an eternity, but it was really only an evening. So. So this is not a project that I would have normally have thought up. I have to give all the props to Jess on this. Now, that being said, this is not really a normal type build in my opinion. I've never built anything like this, and honestly I've never really seen anything quite like this. So if you're gonna do something like this, just remember that essentially you're just widening the closet, and then you're taking and building like a giant bookcase that's going to set inside the cavity of this newly widened closet. And then after that, just take into consideration too that you're going to deal with the inconsistencies of your walls, the back walls, side walls, all little things like that that are all going to play into place. But at the end of the day, take a little bit of time, get it all done. I think it turned out really well. We're really happy with it. We like the way that it looks, and it's going to actually be a very functional thing for us. We're a big fan of anytime we can kind of start to use drawers. We feel like that somehow everything just feels a little bit cleaner and nicer and a little more organized. So that's going to do it for us. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Other than that, we will catch you in the next one.